Welcome everyone to episode 18 of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast, and our second live chat show here on YouTube. I think it's only our third video podcast, if I'm not mistaken. So, still learning the kinks, still trying to make things work. So, let us know if you guys like this format, or if not, we'll change it again. But I think it's going pretty well. I really love last week episode with you guys jumping on the chat. So, hopefully, we'll get some of your guys' comments that way today, and we'll keep going on the Star Wars discussion. There's a lot to talk about today, especially Clone Wars. Man, that episode. We'll get to it, but still processing. There's a lot to go over. Positive. I think we're back with Star Wars being on an even keel. Everyone's now, yeah, Star Wars. There's no issues. Everyone is loving this arc. I saw one person with a negative comment, and I know everyone jumped on him and kind of so no worries. Star Wars, not to say that it's bad because it's always been there, but we're in a good place right now with everyone. So just getting some of the basic things out of the way. Follow us always on Twitter at Radio Rebel Pod. If you're listening to the audio version, not the podcast, go to YouTube, search for Radio Rebellion Podcast, and you'll see us there, and you can watch this episode and all the other different videos we've done so far. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're watching this afterwards on the replay, jump on the comment section. Leave me your questions, what you think about all the news comments news topics we're gonna go over. Clone Wars, obviously, what you thought about the episode. I'll try to reply back. So don't think that if you're not on the chat, you can't participate in this live show. So just go back in the comments and let me know what you guys are thinking. So yeah, how did Star Wars impact your life this week, or did you guys do anything Star Wars related? I think I mentioned it through the Twitter a little bit. I participated and hosted a couple of Star Wars uh, trivia shows kind of this past week, and yesterday actually we did another one, so that's always fun. So yeah, how's Star Wars working for you guys in the real world out there? Also this morning had some free time in the morning, jumped on a couple of live shows. So a quick shout out to As Father and Son, who did their Saturday morning cartoon rewatch or actual premiere watch of the Clone Wars. It's always cool seeing people react to those type of videos that you've seen before. You know what's gonna happen, and you want to see people's reactions. So yeah, those guys always do their reviews that day after, so they can watch it together. So yeah, go to at As Father and Son. I think ASFW As Father and Son. You can find them on YouTube, on Twitter, and also had spent some time with the guys at Star Wars Friends Show. They also did a pretty good broadcast this morning. May 4th is almost upon us, Star Wars Day. So I know a lot of podcasters and YouTubers out there are trying to set up their May 4th episode. I'm trying. I don't know. It's a difficult one to try to find something to celebrate Star Wars Day. So I'm still trying to decide what to do. I was going to kind of ask you guys, what does Star Wars mean to you, and what does it mean to me in my whole life? And I saw a few people already doing that, so I don't want to kind of come in and take it away from them. We might do a quick kind of mention of what Star Wars means to us. But I've been thinking, apart from, I'll talk about that later, probably just go through our favorite scenes of each trilogy. What scene kind of impact us the most in Star Wars? Since the finale of the Clone Wars is going to be on May 4th, which is a Monday, we record this show usually on Saturdays. So we'll have a review of episode 11, not of the finale. So I might do a special review, a separate review from the main channel, just reviewing the Clone Wars episode. So we'll see. All right. So with that said, let's go and talk some Star Wars. So I said it last week. I'm gonna divide the news section into this week in Mando news. It doesn't fail. Every time you think, oh, the news is a little bit slow, don't worry. The Mandalorian will always have something new to add. And for you guys jumping in the comments, I'll probably do this a little bit different than I did last week. I'll probably go through all the news articles first, then go see what you guys are saying on the chat. then do the Clone Wars review, then see what you guys thought of the episode. So it'll be a different type of back and forth, and we'll see how it goes. So first up in Mando news, it's a quick update on the Jamie Lee Curtis kind of news that broke not broke, kind of a rumor that was out there a few weeks ago. Jason Ward over Making Star Wars kind of updated a little bit, saying that she was on set, she had costume fitting, she read the script, but that her role might have fallen through due to scheduling conflicts, as it happens a lot of times with all the famous actors. But there's a possibility there was anyways going to be a small role in season 2 and then expanding to season 3. So she might still show up next season, season 3, which we'll talk about in a few. This way, I guess. At the end, there's a quick couple of pages, I believe, of Saw Gerrera, Enfys Nest, and a young Jean Erso. So could we get something similar in live action? Yes, please. Even if it's a quick glimpse of Enfys Nest. Anything related to Solo, bring it. Bring it. Um, yeah. So also on this report from the Hollywood Reporter, it mentions that officially Tony Gilroy is officially back as the head writer and showrunner for the Cassian Andor series, and he will also direct at least a pilot and maybe another episode. So we'll see. How excited are you guys for this series? I'm pretty excited. Kenobi's my favorite character of Star Wars, or one of my favorite, but I'm really excited for this Rogue One Cassian Andor series. So, yeah, let's see. All right, so our big news topic of this week is a new Disney Plus series in production. So, reading from Star Wars Newsnet, is that Variety and The Hollywood Reporter again are reporting that Russian Doll co-creator and co-showrunner Leslye Headland has been hired to develop a Star Wars series for Disney Plus. Headland is an accomplished playwright, screenwriter, director, and producer, having worked in television industry for the last 10 years in various capacities. Details of the exact plot are obviously kept under wrap, but sources say that it will be a female-centric series taking place in a different part of the Star Wars timeline than other projects. Here's where it gets interesting. Give me one second, just take a quick sip. Where's order? Ah. All right, so before we jump into that other timeline, from a bit worried about it, but man, after seeing that episode, they were right. This is a great episode. By far, the best one of the season is up there with the best of the series already, up there with Rebels. And favorite Rebel episode, of course, is the one with Maul and Kenobi and Twilight of the Apprentice. So it's right there again with those episodes. Um, but yeah, so it starts right where the last show ended, the last episode ended, which is great for all of us that want this to be hopefully released as a movie afterwards. Um, I know Disney Plus, I don't want to skip the intro. It's one of the best parts. It's the intro, so no, don't ask me. I want that intro. You can see the benefit of using stop motion or motion capture for Maul and Ahsoka, especially during their fight. Um, I said it before, Maul is a tragic character, but he is stronger in the Force than he knows. Not physically, but he's attuned to the Force, but he doesn't know how to use it. He doesn't realize, because we see he senses Anakin's fall. We know he's searching for Kenobi and how that plays out. So he's attuned to the Force. He just doesn't know how to use it for his benefits. And it has to cut to Maul's core, hearing from Ahsoka that Kenobi had more important engagements to attend to than having to face him. That's all that he wants. That's Maul. That's why he's so tragic. He just wants Kenobi. That's the only thing he worries about. And I know here he has different intentions, but still, it's Kenobi that he wants. Um, I was internally screaming when the hologram came up and you have Obi-Wan Kenobi there, because you know where that falls. It's right timeline wise. That's probably after he tells Anakin, "Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you." in episode 3 and he boards his Republic cruiser to go in the search of General Grievous. We're close. We're close to the turn. Hearing from Kenobi that the council is not always right, so maybe Qui-Gon is rubbing off on him, and he doesn't trust all of the decisions from the council. But yeah, Obi-Wan did forget to mention that Dooku told him about Darth Sidious, and he kind of, I don't believe you, you're lying. If we had trusted Dooku from the beginning, or halfway through, maybe this would have gone a different way. It's not gonna go the way you think. But I guess that's something you can omit from that conversation with Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. Will we see Ahsoka trying to reach Anakin like Obi-Wan wanted to see if she could kind of talk him down a little bit? I don't think they're going to physically meet or through hologram. I don't think that Anakin and Ahsoka will see each other again. But maybe Ahsoka tries to send him a communication and it doesn't go through, or she can find him. And this, I'm gonna guess yes, and it's gonna break some hearts. Will Ahsoka feel Anakin's turn to the dark side? Answer is yes, and it's gonna be tough. Yeah, what does Ahsoka want Obi-Wan to tell Anakin? We don't know. I don't think we're gonna find out. Obi-Wan just kind of said, "I will," kind of let him know, but we know they don't talk again. So I don't know. That's one of those mysteries that Dave Filoni likes to throw out there, and probably 5 years from now, we'll make a little Ahsoka doodle with a comment, and everyone's gonna jump in. Is that it? Is that what she wanted Obi-Wan to tell Anakin? We'll see. We have that join me scene. Join me. We see Maul extending his hand to Ahsoka in that famous scenes that we've seen from Vader to Luke, Kylo to Padme, and not really, but Dooku to Kenobi when Dooku's telling him about Darth Sidious. But seeing again that hand extended, reaching out from a dark side user to a light side user, join me and together we can destroy the evil. Yeah, I didn't expect it, but it was cool to see. We also see Maul using the same mind invention on Arc Trooper that we see Arc Trooper Jesse, sorry, that Kylo used on Poe and also on Rey during Episode 7. So we see that Maul knew this and he uses it. And we're gonna talk in a few minutes of why he wants to invade Jesse's mind and learn more about Ahsoka. So what? I don't know, because he tells Ahsoka that he wanted Kenobi there so he could bring Anakin and then bring his foal. I love that he calls him his foal, kind of always following him. Because he wanted to kill Anakin so he wouldn't join Sidious. But how did Maul think this was gonna play out? Did he think he was gonna convince convince Kenobi that Anakin was gonna fall to the dark side and join Sidious? The same way he kind of tells Ahsoka, because there's no way that Obi-Wan is going to believe Maul, and even if he does believe Maul, he's not gonna go, all right, let's just kill this boy that I've been training his whole life. He's gonna do everything in his power to try to save Anakin from that fall. And even if it doesn't work, he won't join Maul to kill Anakin. So I don't know what Maul's endgame was at that point. So yes, we won't find out because we had more important things to do than go find Maul. I did like Maul telling Gar Saxon and all the Mandalorians that they're not meant to live in the gutters. And that's how we find them living in the Mandalorian, trying to survive in the sewer. So again, from Siege of Mandalore through the events of the Mandalorian, there's a big gap there. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about how this race of warriors ended up living under the sewers. Also Gar Saxon, when Maul sends him to silence Almec, he blasts him twice in the chest. He could have easily killed, instead of killing Almec, killed Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, and Rex at that point. I guess it's good that he follows orders and doesn't improvise on the fly and say, I'm just gonna shoot those two because that's what Maul wanted. Oh, and we have a quick appearance from my boy Dryden Boss, even if it's that quick hologram with the other kind of syndicates. It's cool to see Dryden just popping up and he's not forgotten. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about underrated characters, and Dryden Boss was mine, so it's good to see him kind of show up even for a little bit. Maul sitting on that throne in the throne room when Bo-Katan, Rex, and Ahsoka walk in, just waiting for them. It's a baller move, one. It's a great visual. The visuals again on this episode were top notch. Everything in the throne room was just great. The lighting, the shadowing, when they have the battle outside between the clones and the Mandalorians, all the smoke. It's great visuals again. This season has surpassed everything that I expected on that front. So yeah, Maul and Ahsoka, we know they're parallels of the failures of the masters, of the Jedi Council, and basically of the rule of two. They both were cast aside by their teachers, and that's why they kind of mirror each other. They might not be Jedi and Sith, but they still follow those same teachings. And that's what Maul wanted out of Trooper Jesse when he invades his mind and asks, "Who's Ahsoka Tano?" That's what he wants to know. That Ahsoka was ostracized by the Jedi High Council, and although she decides to leave voluntarily in the end, the damage was done. And that's what Maul is playing at. He thought he could manipulate the Council's failure with Ahsoka to his benefit, in her helping him kind of destroy Anakin, which is very Sith-like, right? Manipulate how others treat you into, come on, I'm the one that knows you. Come help me, and we'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Even Ahsoka gives this a try in trying to get Maul to help her stop Sidious. So it's funny to see it kind of work both ways, which is similar to Rey at the not the end, but in the Last Jedi when Luke doesn't want to help her, and she goes, "Oh, then Ben/Kylo is our only hope to stop Snoke." So it's very similar of here Ahsoka asking Maul to help her defeat Sidious. So yeah, there's a lot of parallels in this episode with the movies, and others are a lot better than me in figuring this out. So I'm just gonna go through a few, but I didn't find this. I saw people talking about them online, so I'm just gonna go through them real quickly. During the Maul and Ahsoka fight, not the initial one, but the one in the throne room, it's the same. When they start fighting, you can hear the screech of the Emperor when he attacks Mace Windu and the other three Jedi when they go and confront him in his office. It happens at the same time. The glass shattering in that throne room scene happens basically at the same time or around the same time that Mace Windu and Sidious break that window glass in Sidious's office. All that is happening simultaneously. And also, and this is the tragic part because we know it's coming, Maul's capture is happening at the same time, or basically at the same time that Kenobi captures Grievous, and that Anakin chops Mace Windu's hand and starts his fall towards the dark side. Mace Windu goes flying out of the wall. These three big events in Star Wars history are happening at the same time. So the end of the Clone Wars with Grievous dead, Maul captured, and then Darth Sidious kind of coming into play, all happening at the same time. So again, shout out to everyone that kind of figures this out because I'm just watching the episode like this. What's going to happen next? And then I jump into online and see everyone kind of breaking it down. People are putting side by sides. You guys do a great job. Keep doing it. So yeah, Saxon also is captured by the clones, but we know that I believe he's ruling Mandalore, or at least he has the dark saber when we meet him again in Rebels. So we'll see how he escapes. I'm guessing it will have something to do with Order 66. Order 66. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that in a couple of minutes. Let me take a quick drink of water. All right. So yeah, so the episode ends with Ahsoka looking out that broken glass ceiling. We don't know why. So if everything tracks the way we think in terms of timeline compared to Revenge of the Sith, it might be at the same time that Anakin starts his fall towards the dark side, or I shouldn't say start because it started 2 movies ago, when he kind of completes his fall. Let me go to the chat real quick. I see something. Ah, it's running better now. Yay! Thank you, Anthony, for letting me know because I was almost about to stop this. So yeah, if the live stream didn't work, at least hopefully I'll have the audio. I'll put it out on the podcast on Monday, and you can listen to it through there. But let's keep going. And if it didn't work before and you didn't hear the Clone Wars review, I'm sorry. We'll get it on the podcast. All right. So, like I was saying, Ahsoka's looking out that broken glass ceiling at the end of the episode. I'm thinking this is happening around the same time that Anakin is being dubbed Darth Vader by Darth Sidious. So maybe here she starts sensing that something is wrong with her master. And we'll see. I think if this keeps going the same way, the next week's episode will start right then, or maybe a few minutes after episode 11, episode 10 ends. So we'll see. Maybe she figures out or feels pretty early on that Anakin is falling to the dark side or something is happening to him. All right, so I have one critique, and it shouldn't be a critique because it's just the execution of it, not the result. Um, so it happens at the end, the final battle between Ahsoka and Maul. He has the upper hand, and he kind of says, "Oh, my ship is here." When George Jackson calls, "Hey, come bail us out. We're getting destroyed here. We need backup." And he says, "No, no, no. I'm about to leave. My ship is coming." We see that ship kind of coming on top, and then he jumps over Ahsoka. So what I'm thinking is it's gonna cut the other beam. Ahsoka's gonna fall down, and then he'll go up to his ship. And I thought it was gonna be Bo-Katan waiting for him up there, and she was gonna capture him. But not didn't play out that way. Ahsoka kind of gets the upper hand and chops down the beam. He falls, and she stops him with the force. All that is fine. It just I think it happens too quick. The way she kind of turns around him and flips him over. That kind of took me for a shock. I probably because the battle before is so epic, I thought it was going to be a different type of move or something. But that's the only thing. Just the execution of it wasn't the best for me. But it doesn't matter. The result, we know what's going to happen. I love that Rex at least get that shot to kind of stun him at the end. So yeah, so that was the episode, and then kind of looking a little bit toward next week. Order 66. I'm not ready for this. Are you guys ready? I doubt it. No one is ready for Order 66 to be shown in this way. We saw it in episode 3, and yes, it was heartbreaking, but the way it's gonna most likely go down in Clone Wars is gonna be hard to watch. Uh, First, how does this affect Ahsoka emotionally? Being in the Jedi Order for so long since the beginning of the Clone Wars, to now see all the clothes turning on all the Jedi, how would that affect her? And we know she's not a Jedi anymore. The clones are kind of, hey, Order 66 destroyed, killed the Jedi. Will the clones kind of register this that she isn't a Jedi? Because once that inhibitor chip turns, they go crazy. So I want to say that it doesn't matter that she's not a Jedi. She's still helping them. She's still a Force user, a light side Force user. So I think that won't matter that she's in a Jedi. I think they're gonna turn on her, and this is gonna get hard and heavy for our friend Commander Rex. What I said in one of the live chats earlier today, I think Rex is gonna have to unfortunately kill some of his clone brothers in protecting Ahsoka. And that's going to be hard to watch. It's going to be a very tough decision for Rex if he goes down that way, because he's all about trust, all about your family, your brothers, being loyal to everyone. He does everything for his clone brothers. We saw what he did for in during the Bad Batch. Can he now pull the trigger against his brothers to save Ahsoka? And that's going to be hard to watch. And it all depends how they pull it off, but kind of going by these past 2 episodes, I can expect they're gonna pull it off, and it's gonna be great to see. So we'll see. Will this happen next week? Most likely, I believe Order 66 will be next week, and then will be the finale. I don't know. We'll see. I think next week is just her and Rex trying to figure out what happened. Maul escaping, I'm guessing somehow. Same with George Saxon, Rex and Ahsoka on the run from Order 66. Will she I'm guessing maybe she gets Obi-Wan's message not to go back to Coruscant. Will she try to find Anakin and Darth Sidious? I don't know. There's so much, so much. It's heartbreaking. I don't want it to end, but it has to end at some point. So next week, episode 11, Shattered. With that, shattered hearts, shattered minds. That's all that we're gonna be talking about next week. May 1st, Friday, and then 3 days later, May 4th, the finale, Victory and Death. Oh yeah. So it's gonna be a heavy couple of days with the finale of the Clone Wars and a lot to talk about. So we'll see. All right, so that's it for my Clone Wars review. Let's check in on the chat real quick if you guys could at least listen to parts of it and what you guys thought about it. Um, right, so I guess it's working now a little bit better. Thank you. It's working. It's working. Maybe Jar Jar got his tongue in the what do you call those in the pod racer? And yeah, I think that happened in the stream. So Maul abandoning the Mandalorians. Yeah, you deal with it. Go die, Mandalorians. It's so Maul. It's again, he's not a Sith Lord at this point, but he has the same mentality. I'm just do what's best for me. You help me with what I wanted to do, which was unfortunately bring a Jedi. He wanted Kenobi for his reasons to try and kill Anakin, which were not gonna work. But that's what he wanted. He wanted the Mandalorians there to help him bring Anakin or whoever. Ahsoka came in. He knows when he goes to that throne room with Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, and Rex, he might not be able to overpower all three. But that's why he knows the battle is going outside. He just told the Mandalorians, don't live in the gutter, go battle as warriors, die as warriors. He knows that Bo-Katan will go that way. He just stunned Jesse, reading his mind, so he knows he can send Rex and the clones away, and then it's just him and Ahsoka. Again, like a very Sith Lord manipulating everything. That's why I said at the beginning that Maul is more attuned to the Force and how to manipulate things that he knows, so that he knows how to use that to his advantage. He did it here a little bit, but unfortunately at the end it didn't work out. Yes, again, Anthony, we best be ready, and I don't know if I'm going to be. But yeah, finale is coming. Order 66 is coming. We'll see. Again, I've been pleasantly surprised with this season in general. It started a little bit slow for me. If you follow me, you know I wasn't on board with the Bad Batch for the first couple of episodes. Then I was all in. Kind of same thing with that Ahsoka arc. Took me a little bit to get behind the Martez sisters and their arc, but again, it was important to get Ahsoka to this point. But these 2 episodes, this Siege of Mandalore, it's everything we kind of, I don't want to say that we were promised because we weren't promised anything. We just saw the trailer and started making our assumptions that everything was going to be running in parallel with episode 3. But yeah, it's delivered on that and more. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it this much, but yeah, these 2 episodes blow my mind and I think it's going to keep going. So yeah, great. It's great. 2 more, but again, it's the same thing. How long do I don't want another season of Clone Wars with this? It's a perfect ending. 4 episodes again. Now 2 hours basically a movie. It's great. So it's almost there. All right. So with that said, we go to kind of our special section of the episode, and here is when did the Force Awaken feel like Star Wars to you? So I put this out on Twitter a couple of days ago. Again, it's the end. Episode 9 came and gone, came and gone, came and went. I'm not getting my sayings right today, but you know what I mean. The Skywalker saga is done, so now we get to kind of sit back and kind of relive it in our head how all this came to play. So for me, it goes back to Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We hadn't had a Star Wars movie in since 2005, so basically 11 years, 10 years. Um, and we're used to, at least for me, again, we get the Clone Wars, but Star Wars has always been Skywalkers, right? So we know Luke, we have Leia, we have Anakin, Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Vader, Maul. And this kind of goes through the Clone Wars. You have new characters, obviously, because you do need them, but it's still the story of Anakin. You have Obi-Wan, you have the Jedi High Council that you know, you have Yoda, Mace Windu, all those familiar faces. So this new trilogy gets announced. We're all excited, of course. Star Wars. I remember I found out the news that Disney had bought Star Wars and a new trilogy was coming from a friend of mine, which was kind of a bummer because I want to kind of find out by myself. So he kind of told me he was at my house. We are doing something with my kids. And oh, look, Disney just bought Star Wars. More movies are coming. I'm like, yeah. That always kind of happens every couple of years. Someone says that new Star Wars movie is coming. And it never pans out. And I jumped online and kind of saw it. And great, it's another Star Wars movie. I can't wait. I think it was 2014. Then the movie was coming for 2013 when it was mentioned. Then the movie coming out 2015. But yeah, so the time came. We saw the trailers. Very excited. Then I go to the movies. And before I tell you my experience about it, like I mentioned, I put this out there to you guys on Twitter, and I received some great responses from you guys, from the guys over at Wannabe Jedi Cast, Anthony again, Rural Farmboy jumped in, Joby King, Nerd Herder Cast, Talk with My Hands. All those people jumped in and kind of gave me their thoughts and when they felt that they were again sitting down to watch a Star Wars movie. And some of the responses I got, and my moment when I felt that Force Awakens felt like Star Wars is in one of these, but I'm not gonna say just yet. So you guys wrote in the opening crawl, and Ray flying through the Star Destroyer. Um, this is for you, Anthony. You said planning for it, driving to a theater, sitting down, seeing the Lucasfilm logo. So you were ready. This is Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. Let's go. I also got Kylo Ren freezing the blaster when the Falcon appeared on screen, seeing episode 7 roll up on the screen on the titles, and Rey's introduction. So those are all great. None of them happened pretty quickly on. I guess for you guys, just seeing the crawl, seeing Lucasfilm, episode 7, kind of just put you in the Star Wars mood, which again is great. So for me, it took me a little bit longer. Nothing against the movie. I love this movie. I just watched it this a couple of hours ago before jumping in. And I think it's my third favorite Star Wars movie after Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope. So the thing was, a few months before that, I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy on theaters, which I believe came out the same year. And watching Guardians, again, another kind of space, fantasy, action adventure. And I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I still love Guardians of the Galaxy. And it showed me what I had so much fun with that movie that I was afraid Star Wars wasn't going to be able to live up to it. And that's my thing. I was afraid that they wouldn't be able to capture that magic. It had been so long since a Star Wars movie. And depending who you ask, it might be so even longer when a good Star Wars movie was made. But I love the prequels, Revenge of the Sith, against from the fourth or fifth of the favorite ones. But I was afraid after seeing Guardians of the Galaxy that was going to be kind of the new Star Wars, that we weren't going to be able to live up to it. So yeah, so I got my tickets pretty early on, probably in October, I think I got my tickets. I didn't go opening night on Thursday because I got kids, and it's hard to leave your kids at 7, 8 o'clock at night to go watch a movie and try to explain that to a 4-year-old. Excuse me. But I went early on Friday, about 10 in the morning, sat down, made a long line, got my popcorn and my soda, and I sat down and just as you guys said, seen Lucasfilm. We didn't get the Fox fanfare for the first time, but that was fine. You get the crawl, episode 7, Luke Skywalker has vanished, all that. And then, yeah, Star Wars, it's great to be back watching a Star Wars movie. John Williams' music is playing, so I'm there. The movie starts, and I'm enjoying it, of course, but I feel tense. My shoulders are tensed up. I kind of, this Star Wars. I know I'm having fun. I know it's a space movie. The music is there, but does it feel like Star Wars? And at that point, when it begins, I wasn't feeling it yet. We had stormtroopers. We had the big bad in Kylo Ren show up and use a new force, a new force power stopping that blaster. Then we have Finn and Poe escaping with a TIE fighter, which now is one of my favorite scenes. It's so fun. Just seeing the dynamic between those two characters. It's just a great scene. but it didn't feel like Star Wars at that point. So to me, when it felt like Star Wars and I was able to relax my shoulders, was the escape from Jakku. Like you guys mentioned, it's Ray and Finn running away from the stormtroopers first on Jakku. Then before we get there, they're running away, and Finn is screaming, "We need a pilot!" And Ray going, "We've got one." No, which again is very solo, very Han Solo when he's talking to Dryden Boss. We already got a pilot. That same vibe. She had that cockiness in her when it comes to flying. That one's garbage. And then the quad jumper blows up, and when she says the garbage will do, I kind of stood up in my seat. Wait, the garbage? Is that the Falcon? Has to be the Falcon. When she turns that corner and then and you see the Falcon, that elevated it. She gets in the Falcon. She tells Finn to go to that gunner station. And then when she's, I can do this, I can do this. And the Falcon is not working because the Falcon never does. And she's clicking on buttons and the sounds of the buttons. And then she gets it to fly, start the TIE fighters start chasing them. Seeing the targeting system for the Falcon, and then just the way she feels inside the Falcon, trying to figure it out, trying to reach the other side because she doesn't have a co-pilot. I think that's how I felt watching the movie at first. Kind of, it's this Star Wars. We need a little bit of help, just as she needed help, kind of fixing everything that Uncle plot did. But once she starts flying, she goes into the Star Destroyers, shoots them all down. You have the music playing, the way it's filmed, cutting through the debris, flipping upside down. So that's very the Falcon kind of weaving through the Star Destroyer, the Falcon escaping through the trash, the Falcon chasing the TIE fighter at A New Hope when they go to the Death Star. I think all that, the music, because what other ship has its own theme? Seeing something familiar in the Millennium Falcon, but with new characters making it their own and having a blast in that scene, I think that's when it hit me. I relax. I'm in Star Wars. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. Forget about Guardians of the Galaxy. Again, I love that movie. I really like it, but it's not Star Wars. At this point, when they're in the Falcon and they finally leave Jakku and they just kind of start leaving the planet, that's when The Force Awakens felt like Star Wars to me. I said, okay, JJ, you got me. We're in good hands. I enjoyed the beginning. Now I feel like I'm in Star Wars. Let's go. From that point on till the end of episode 9, this has felt to me like a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars trilogy. And I know it has its detractors out there that only are the purists of the original trilogy. But the sequel trilogy is a great 3 movies. You can say what you want about they didn't have a vision, or The Last Jedi is the best one, or the worst one, or it's right there. Every Star Wars movie has ups and downs. But yes, The Force Awakens, just to finish up with this thought, if this didn't work, if this movie didn't work, the other two were going to fail. I know a lot of people criticize it for being too similar to A New Hope, and you can always make the argument that it was, but it needed to have that sense of familiarity and comfort. But I think it also differentiates itself enough that if you want to look at it a little bit past it, that you can see that this movie holds its own, and I love it. It's so fun. I can watch this movie over and over again. I have a smile on my face every time I see it. And yeah, Force Awakens is a great Star Wars movie. And then again, for me, it all started with that chasing out of Jakku, Ray kind of saying, "You already have a pilot. I'm gonna pilot this thing out of here," and then escaping the planet after the TIE fighter were chasing them. Great scene, great dynamic again between her and Finn, which then goes to the rest of the trilogy. Is set up in that scene also. So great Star Wars scene, great Star Wars movie, and that's when The Force Awakens became a Star Wars movie to me. Right, so I see one more comment. Yeah, Anthony. Um, love it all. What does it tell me? A story. I don't know how to expect a Star Wars story. Yeah, I think you're right. So it's difficult, I guess, what to expect from Star Wars. I don't know if this is what you're asking. Um, I don't know. I think it's a feeling of, because you can make a science fiction movie or a fantasy movie in space, and it doesn't have the same vibe as Star Wars. It's a combination of the characters. You need to feel something for the characters, and they need to be going through something that relates to you. Ray is a very relatable character to a lot of people. Same with Finn and Poe, and that kind of works through the original trilogy and the prequels. You can always feel for those characters. So you don't feel a connection to them and what they're going through. I think you can make whatever movie you want. It won't feel like Star Wars. The music, of course, John Williams, it's great and making those connections through music, which Kevin Kiner does a great thing on the Clone Wars and in Rebels. I think in the feel of it, kind of that distressed look, a lot of science fiction movies kind of go to the new polish kind of look. Everything that's kind of noir was in the future has all those neon colors. If it happens on Earth, if it's out there, it's too polished and stuff like that. I think the look of the aliens is very important because you can see an alien and say that doesn't feel like a Star Wars alien. Again, I don't know how they do it, but there are certain things they can say, yeah, this is Star Wars, they're doing Star Wars. And to me, I think the music, of course, combination with what the characters are experiencing and the way they get to where they're going. We know with the hero journey is very important. And like I mentioned when I did my Rey kind of breakdown, her hero journey is different than Anakin's and Luke's. Kind of untraditional. She doesn't become the hero of her own story till the end of Force Awakens. So yeah, that's all of that is combined. Again, I don't know if I knew how to make it feel like a Star Wars, then maybe I could go do one. But I can't. All right, thanks, Anthony, for sticking by through all the issues that we had. Thanks for letting me know that there were a couple of issues. Hopefully, they fix themselves up by the end, and if not, at least the audio works, and we can have it for the podcast, which I'll be posting probably on Monday. So thank you guys for sticking by. If you didn't get a chance to see the live show, please jump in the comments, leave your comments about what you think of Mandalorian season 3, what you think the new Plus Star Wars series might be about, what timeline, your thoughts about the Clone Wars, and of course, when did The Force Awakens feel like a Star Wars movie to you guys? So yeah, thanks again for joining. Hopefully next week we will have such a lag in the video, but stay safe, be safe, and may the Force be with you.